27th of February 2021. How's it going, guys? We're going to do a walk in the park. Sunny day today. So we come back around this way. We've only walked it a few times, but sunny as it is, it makes it pretty nice. Usually shady back here if trees have leaves on them and stuff. What are we going to talk about today, guys? I see Farmer Jones Law, or Farmer Jones, one of them, he's got closed down right now because he's got a strike on one of his YouTube channels there. Check it out. He posted about an hour video with some good links on it. And if you get a chance, check out Teal Swan's video on relationships. I think she did an excellent video. It's about 22 minutes long. Not affiliated with any other channels or any groups whatsoever, guys. Just try to get good information out there. Pretty good games on Xbox last night. Win. Yeah, Nuketown, I like it. The new zombie one's good too. Good. weather's pretty nice, isn't it?
Yep.
If it just keep getting warmer, that'll be a good thing.
Yep.
How you doing?
Good.
I think Teal Swan did an excellent job, like I say, on that video. You know, when she talks about things, the psychological things, it's really interesting because she also puts it out in several different case scenarios and stuff. And like she was talking, you know, some women are afraid if guys do make more money or succeed that they're going to lose the guy. I agree with that. I mean, when it's in something like that. And if a guy tries to appease and stay where he wants, you know what I mean, it don't do no good. And most women like guys to make money, or as much money as they can. As long as they're not trying to control everything. That's the thing. Interesting. Like I said, I thought it was really good. Just got posted this morning. Let's go. See what he's gonna do here. You know, she was talking about security and stuff, and all women want to be secure. But what I find interesting, see, when you sit and start talking about all this, and it's interesting. It's like you take something like, say, some of the groups around where I live over there, some of those houses where they have 2, 3 couples living in a house and stuff. And so a lot of them don't work. Some of them sit around, they smoke their weed all day long and stuff. How does a gal feel like that's secure? I don't know. I don't get that. Right now, what I do, I'm a caregiver. I take care of my mother. I do it because I want to, not because I have to. And I give my dad my word that I take care of her to the very end. And that's what I plan on doing. But a lot of people don't think even taking care of someone's work. There's a lot of work involved in that. People don't really realize all that. But what amazes me, you take, say, like my son, people his age, all the way up to 4 years of age in these places that aren't working. Now I know that the COVID-19 deal caused a lot of out of work and everything and stuff. Before that, this was going on before that. It makes you wonder. I mean, is it better to be a thug or a thief or a drug dealer? Then you're secure? Is that what those guys? Or is it just the weed that they live for? Yeah. You know, let's just talk about the truth here. Yeah, we're going to talk about the truth. More ways than one. Truth people don't like to hear. A lot of different levels. Shoot, when I was going to a continuous job out there, I think only a couple times was I sick. Did I ever miss a day ever? I look at these out here, so I can say the home stuff around me. I mean, they don't do nothing. They just sit there, lots of them. And you can smell what's coming from their houses as the wind's blowing. Not good. These are younger people. Real younger people. But not real young. Not in their standards. But it just amazes me. Very interesting stuff. The ice is starting to melt some out there. Check it out. Cool. You see it? Pause that for a second. All right. You know what's interesting about up here in Kansas City? Get up here a little bit closer. Hear me, because I don't know if that mic hasn't been picking up the brakes today. Is all the jobs that I worked at here, things are promised and never was delivered. And I didn't just work at one job for 2 or 3 days. I worked at jobs for 3 years at a whack. You know, after you get done that way so many times and nobody never delivers anything, it's like Sears. After I got out of high school there, I worked out there in automotive, aced all their tests. And like I say, I was good at rebuilding engines, troubleshooting any kind of electronics whatsoever. So, but every time, there's never an opening. Well, why is that? I have some thoughts about this too. I don't think this is just all about that. There are certain groups here in Kansas City that don't let anybody ever get ahead of the game. Only let their people in, and that's it. And then I worked at Quail Creek Apartments for an Italian group for 3 years. What's interesting about that is they were actually out of Texas, and I have to say something. Ones from Texas try to cut things more than you believe. Now, I've been down there to Galveston several times. I enjoyed it down there. I didn't like the oil that come off the rigs when they leak, when you're swimming out in the ocean. But 3 years there, got my HVAC license even. They didn't pay for any of it. I paid for all of it. And then that's when they started having those $50,000 fines for supposedly it and the individual if you cut the line on the AC unit. Well, I told them after I got my license I wasn't going to do that anymore. And they said, well, I had to or they were going to fire me. So I quit and I filed a deal here in Missouri for unemployment. Well, guess what? I didn't get no unemployment. I had a deal. This is how Missouri works. But interesting stuff. And there was many lines that they had guys out there when we were working out there cut and vent all that Freon. There was a gal that owned it down there. They came up here a couple, 3 times. They hated coming up here. The only time they did anything, they went out on the plaza out there, and they hated the weather here. They said they didn't like the weather here. I mean, I didn't ever mind the Texans. I always thought they were pretty friendly, but when they come up here and they were like that, not good. And then I worked, oh God, I worked in several different places. Problem with this is that they always move you up. Even if they do move you up, they don't pay you no more money. Which is not a good thing either. And young people need to know this. That's why another thing, you definitely want to get a degree, and even that don't even guarantee nothing in this day and age. But you want to have many different skills. Oh, before that I did work at Toys R Us for over a year, and after I ran 199 people through in 6 hours, accurately, with no mistakes, they made me a ticket writer. That meant that we had to make sure all the tickets were out on the bicycles and battery operated vehicles and everything else like that. And what was interesting about this, it was just a name. You never got paid any more money. And back at that time, they didn't pay a whole lot. I think it was making, I don't know, $5.75 or $6.25 an hour. That was pretty much about it. Even after doing all that, so no pay increase after that. So went on the way on the other deal on that. So interesting. So then I went to work for a place called Citywide Chemicals, and I worked down there for 3 years across from Hereford. And that's where I got my hazmat license. And you know, all this stuff isn't easy. You can't just walk out and get your hazmat license. You can't just walk out and get your HVAC license. I mean, there's guys that go 2 years or better to school. I pick up a book, read these books, take the test, pass the test, get through it. But every time I didn't do no good. Now, the people at Citywide was good people, pretty good to work for, but like any company, you know, they try to get more and more and more out of their people and squeeze as far as they can. I just got burned out because they had me actually doing several different guys' jobs, and I mean several there, and not good. Not good at all. Nobody watching up there? Somebody just playing.
I figured that's what it was.
Anyway, the thing of it was, later on, I basically I was shipping hazmat material. They had me doing for 4 hours. Originally, it was all day, and this was handwritten. They didn't buy anything electronic because they said it cost too much money, which I found later on that wasn't the case. Because when I went to work at Laboratory Supply, RPS actually, as much as they shipped downtown, they could have got almost a free deal to where they would have given them their computers and printout. Because this Laboratory Supply, now Laboratory Supply I worked at, we'll get to that in a second. They would clear over about $500,000 a month, and I know Citywide was making a lot more than that. They were paying one of their employees over $100,000 just with a salesperson. But getting on to that real quick, is they also had me working with over, I know I had probably 13 or 14 supervisors that I dealt with that worked with people that went out in the field to all the different buildings here in the city and cleaned them. Now, what I had to keep track of was all the chemicals they took out, all the machinery when it come to vacuum cleaners, anything else. And I went in there and I cleaned the whole place up. I had books, I had notebooks on file of everybody and everything. It went in and out of them, complete. But you know, you can only push somebody so far. You can only get so much out of somebody when they're about ready to drop over from exhaustion on something. So then I went to Laboratory Supply out here, and what they used me for, that was just being used because my hazmat license. So they got me in there, everything went pretty good for about a year, and then they got an old guy in there. And they were going to get this old guy in there because they were out of Florida. Now out of Florida, oh yeah. And they didn't want somebody younger dealing with basically on the medical shipping anything in or out. Now this guy, he was making, when he did this stuff, he was probably, oh my God, I helped train him and stuff, but he was making about 25, 30 mistakes a day. I think out of all the time I was there, I think I had like 2 mistakes. And to use age as anything, age don't matter. Kansas City's got this deal about age, like, you know, age matters. No, age don't matter. You know, if somebody's 21 or if they're 70 and can do the job, it doesn't matter. Let them do it. There's nothing wrong with that. But I worked with many guys. You would not believe the stories I could tell. And I'll tell a lot more before that. But anyway, the thing of it is, they always promise the world here, and you never get it. I mean, that's why I told my son, go get, like I said, get in a medical field, get some kind of a degree in doing something like that. Because bottom line is, all this other stuff, they promise the world to all these young people, and they never deliver. Anyway, guys, just a heads up, but like I say, in a sense, I'll never understand it here. They always say they want to do better, but they don't do better. Anyway, guys, have a good one.